Hey, what's up, everybody? It's your good old boy JR coming to you live from Las Vegas, Nevada. I will have Brandon in here for quite a bit in a little bit. It is good to be back. We did take a little bit of a 3 day hiatus, but it is so good to be back. Brandon should be joining us here. Sorry, should be joining us here in a second, so we'll get him back on. This is the last week of individual picks, and then from there we will go to the regular draft. The draft is literally next week, and we cannot wait. And he should be joining he's going to be joining me live on Instagram Live, so you'll be able to hear him. He's just we just little technical difficulties today. And there he is, the man of the hour, Brandon. What's going on, my man?
And that was good.
That's good, man. That's good. How was your weekend?
Good.
That's good, man. Man, it was good. It was relaxing. No worries. It was all good.
That's good.
Heck yeah, man. You ready to get this started? We only got one more week, and then after that, it's our super show on Sunday, and then that's it. We just got to get ready for the real draft.
Let's do it, man.
All right. Well, on the clock, your favorite, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Your favorite. They're on the clock.
Favorite, but okay. Favorites, but okay.
Yeah, but they are on the clock, and it is time to see what we can do to help them. Now, remember, we have to be have to help, Brandon. We can't just pick random players now. Okay, looking at you.
I can't give him a punter.
I'm looking at you. Looking at you, Brandon.
I can't give him a punter.
You cannot give them. Well, I mean, if that's what they need, then sure.
They need a punter. I mean, come on. They need a punter.
And that's not how it works. But today, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are on the clock, and we have a good one. After finishing 13-4, winning the division, being the second best offense in the NFL and fifth best defense in the NFL, you would think that would be enough to win the Super Bowl. Didn't happen. Did not happen. They eventually lost to the reigning Super Bowl champions, the Los Angeles Rams. The Rams beat them at home in Tampa, but it was just a weird year for the Buccaneers. It was just one of those years you think they could take it back. Everybody was brought back together. The goal was for them to win a championship again. It didn't happen. Now they have to figure out how they want to play this. How do they want to do this? Who's going to be who? So before we get into that, let's recap their 2021 draft. With the 32nd pick, because they were the Super Bowl champions last year. They took Joe Tyron, the linebacker out of Washington. Did play all games. Unfortunately, it's just when that deep of a depth team, when you get into a team like that, you're not going to get a lot of looks. He did play all 17 games, so that is good. Durability is good. For a man that had a lot of issues of durability, he lasted 17 games. That's good to know. And he did what he did as best as he could. 29 tackles, 4 sacks, and 3 pass deflections. Nothing you can do, man. Nothing you can do when you're behind Jason Pierre-Paul, William Goldston. You're gonna have to take your snaps whenever you can. So Shaquille Barrett, yep. I mean, it is what it is. It is what it is. Second round, pick number 64, they took Kyle Trask, the quarterback out of Florida. Did not take one single snap.
Really?
Yeah,
back. I can't believe that.
Yeah,
really? I cannot believe that.
Well, when you're back up to Tom Brady, it happens like that, my man. It happens. And that's okay. Chrissy, what's going on?
You telling me they picked him second in the second round? He didn't even touch the ball. How dare they?
It's almost like they're developing him. I don't know.
I know, man. It's crazy.
It is what it is. It is what it is. Third round, pick 95, Robert Hainsey, the offensive guard out of Notre Dame. And would you believe it too? Backup. Who would have thought? It is what it is. Yeah. Don't worry. Don't worry. This next round pick. And, he's going to have a chance to compete for a starting guard now that the offensive line has totally reshuffled. But we'll get into that in a minute. Fourth round pick number 129, Jalen Darden, the wide receiver out of North Texas. Nah, nothing too flashy, 6 receptions, 43 yards. All right. But he has proved to be an excellent specialist. 142 punt return yards and 359 kick return yards. So, in the sense, at least he's playing. At least he's playing. Now, 5th round, 176, KJ Britt, the linebacker out of Auburn. If your first rounder isn't behind the depths, what do you think your 5th rounder is going to happen? Only 12 tackles, 1 pass deflection. It is what it is. It just happens that way. Now, they didn't pick again. They picked twice, but in the 7th round, they had no next rounder. So at pick 251, they took Chris Wilcox, the cornerback at BYU. Did not even make the team. Shockingly, he is now on the Indianapolis Colts, who probably has a better chance of making that team more than anything. And lastly, pick number 259, Grant Stewart, the linebacker out of Houston. 15 tackles, 1 forced fumble. Yeah.
They drafted a cornerback and just let him walk.
I know we're gonna get to that. I get it. They let him walk. I totally get it. I do not understand.
But at the one thing you actually needed, walk.
Yeah, he's on the Colts, and you know what? Good for him. He's gonna have a chance to make the team anyway. Good for him. All right. I wish. I mean, yeah. I mean, the way it turned out, yeah. And then lastly, Grant Stewart, the linebacker out of Houston, 50 tackles, 1 forced fumble. Again, linebacker is not where you want to go in Tampa Bay because you're not going to really get a lot of playing time. So there it is. It all started good. It started real good for Tampa Bay. You beat Dallas, Philly on the Thursday night opener. People can say all they want. Mike Evans pushed off and this and that. Listen, say what you want. Tampa Bay won. And there was a part of me that said, you know what? Tampa Bay is doing the same thing they're doing last year. They're getting hot at the right time. No one's going to want to play them. But then, Brandon, I'm going to let you take it from here, man. What happened? Why did the Buccaneers not repeat Super Bowl champions again?
I mean, it should have been a shutout. Let's be real for a second. That divisional game should have been a shutout. The Rams defense was on Tom Brady. He could barely move. They barely ran the ball. I mean, Leonard Fournette was the only thing offensively that was actually working at one point.
Yep.
Turnovers. And then I don't know what's up with these new head coaches, Sean McVay and Kyle Shanahan. They forget that there's a second half to a football game. For some apparent reason, they just forget that there's a second half. Because they just went completely against what the hell they were doing in the first half. I don't know what the hell happened.
Yeah.
Offensively for the Rams in the second half of that game. But they pulled it out. I mean, I would too if you put a safety on Cooper goddamn Kupp, who should have been MVP. I'm just saying, maybe if a safety if they blew the entire coverage and left probably one of the best goddamn receivers in the entire league open, I would too. I'll probably catch the ball just wide open too. I don't know.
It's just, you think, when Tampa Bay was coming back, it just had the signs of, oh my God, here we go again. Tom Brady's going to do it again. That crazy SOB is going to do it again.
I felt that way for especially when Mike Evans caught that touchdown pass from Jalen Ramsey. I was like, oh shit.
Yeah, that was kind of like dude, they're done. They're done.
And then I was like, you know what? Rams are getting the ball next. I don't trust that secondary for shit. And
it showed you why.
I was like, I don't trust that secondary for shit. Something stupid's going to happen. And it literally happened. I don't know what happened.
I mean, it happened. They put a safety on. They did a zero blitz. They took a page out of Greg Williams,
Oh, don't get me started, Greg Williams. We want to ring. That's all I give a damn about.
It's just one of those things where Everything about Tampa Bay I liked. I liked how their offense was clicking. I liked how the running game was picking up. And I liked the front four. But you're right, that secondary all year was so shaky at best. It was shaky at best.
I have literally said this. Tampa Bay secondary sucks. I've said this literally every time, ever since you met me. I have literally said Tampa Bay secondary
It's terrible.
sucks.
Yeah.
It's very bad. It sucks. For me personally, I didn't trust Tampa Bay. I just didn't. I just felt like there was just something off bottom. I mean, when we beat them twice, you gotta realize we lost James Winston in the first half of that game. Trevor Siemian had somewhat of an offense line in that game, pulled it out.
My only thing with the Buccaneers at that time was, because obviously when you got a quarterback like Tom Brady, it just feels like everything's going to work in its place again. And that's what it was heading to. I mean, that's what it was really heading to.
I would say this year was the year that we found out that maybe these legendary players can't do it all anymore. Like Tom Brady couldn't do it in the NFL. LeBron couldn't do it in the NBA. It seems like they're getting to the point now. It's like they're gonna need some real help. It's not just magical anymore. It's difficult. It's gonna be. It takes.
No, granted, there was a point in time where I said, "Oh, yeah, the Buccaneers are probably going to beat the Rams now," and you would have think that because they were down so much, and then they come back so easily. You're like,
I really want to know what Todd Bowles was thinking when he said, "You know what we're gonna do? We're gonna call an all-out blitz." That's gonna be a smart decision because we've been getting to Matthew Stafford. It's like, really?
I mean, I get it. I understand the theory, but at the same time, it's like, dude, you're gonna really leave Cooper Kupp with a safety? Seriously?
Like I said, I didn't trust Tampa Bay secondary. I really didn't trust them when we beat them 9-0.
Yeah, that's tough.
No receivers, and our head coach was out with COVID. So Tampa Bay, to me, never got my trust. I was like, yeah, they suck. That secondary is terrible. They're going to lose.
Yeah, no, you're right. I mean, it is what it is now. I mean, it baffles me to know that even with all that mess, they were literally 2 minutes away from winning the game. They were literally 2 minutes away. And, it's just a bum. I'm not going to sit here and say that the season was a success for the Buccaneers or it was a failure. I think what happened is why it's very rare for a team to go back to back. You get tired, you hit a wall, and then you just meet your match. And in this case, it was the Rams. In Kansas City's case, it was the Buccaneers. In the year before, it's I understand why it's harder to win back to back now. Because the problem is back then, I mean, yeah, free agency was a thing, but it wasn't like a big old thing. Teams would stay together for many, 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 many years.
I was about to say that.
They would stay. I mean, it was up to a certain point to where, teams would stay together for about 5, 7, 8, 9, 12 years together. Like they would stay together. There would be nobody other than what you drafted coming in. There wouldn't be, okay, well, let's get this guy. Let's get this guy. Free agency was big, but it's not like today. Today's free agency is like, holy crap, it's a whole nother world, That's
it was more so trades. If you could find a trade partner for like somebody, then okay, they got traded to your team. Mm-hmm. That's different. But yeah, I mean, listen, I think that's kind of the reason why I don't think a lot of teams go back to back. Is because they want to keep it together. It's like, nah. Something has to blow up.
Because you can't keep it together. In today's NFL, you can't keep it together. Because the problem is, it's like, yeah, you're good at last year. This year, teams got better. And you want to stay the same? No, you have to keep improving.
And on top of that, we're watching the tape of what all y'all did together. Mm-hmm. That's a problem.
I mean, put it this way. Why do you think it took the Rams so long to get back to the Super Bowl? Because teams in their own division started getting better. So they said, okay, well, we got to get better too. Put it this way. Who was the last great dynasty? New England.
Patriots.
And you know what's crazy to think about? The last time they won their three, whatever, their 3 out of 4, whatever it was, the second time. Look at the gap in between those times. That's a long gap.
Yeah.
It was a very long time until Tom Brady won his 4th ring. People don't remember that. He won his first 3 with it. But the thing was, it's like I told you, back then, put it like this. That New England team, that was a good New England team. But then free agency took a life of its own. The draft just started getting a little bit bigger, and bigger. Before you know it, it's like, okay, yeah, we got Tom Brady, but look at the gap it was between him winning his first ring, his 3rd ring to his 4th ring. Look at the gap it took Peyton Manning from his first ring to his last ring. If we're talking the greatest to ever do it.
I mean, Brett Favre never got back to a Super Bowl.
He got back, but he lost. He won. He won one, went back, but never won another one.
Never went back to another one. So
Aaron Rodgers, the greatest accurate thrower to ever throw, never winning another. Like, are you kidding me? That's gonna end up like the sad story of Drew Brees. The greatest passer to ever throw, never winning another one. But what I'm saying is, understand this, the teams, it's all a team thing. And yes, Tampa Bay had a great team. But the problem is everybody else got better. Everybody else got better in that conference, I guess you could say.
I truly believe if James Winston doesn't get injured in that game, we win the division.
There's a part of me that wants to believe you. There's a part of me that wants to believe Jameis Winston can't beat this team to a division title. Like, there's a part of me that wants to believe you, my man.
Yeah, but I think, listen, Tom Brady, like you said, that was a long gap. That was a decade. But I think the problem with everybody is because everybody kept seeing Tom Brady in the Super Bowl. It's not like he didn't get to the Super Bowl. He just lost them.
Yeah.
So it was kind of like.
But what I'm trying to tell, what I'm trying to people to understand is there's a reason why it's super hard to go back to back. Because one, playing fatigue. That's a lot of games. You don't think Kansas City, in some sense, is like, okay, we don't have to go back to the Super Bowl. But I bet you they're pretty tired of going back. They're not tired of going to AFC Championship games. But I'm sure at some point there has to be some mental fatigue of, oh my God, how long can we really do this until the wheels fall off, you know?
Well, the wheels have fell off, so I don't know what.
I mean, so understandably so. To me, I think it's harder to repeat now than it was in the 80s, in the 90s, and a little bit in the 2000s. I mean, just a little bit.
I mean, it was only really one team that did all that, and that was the Patriots. Nobody actually repeated in the 2000s.
They went back, but they didn't win.
Yeah.
Like, Seattle went back to back, but they only won 1 out of 2.
But they only won one title.
So it was, I think that's why it's so much harder now to repeat than it was, back then. Because back then, if you had a great team, well, you had a really great team. It's like I always say, there's talent across the boards, even on the worst teams. There's talent everywhere. You don't believe me? Look at Detroit. They got one of the young, explosive wide receivers in the league. You don't believe me? Look at Jacksonville. Who the hell does not want James Robinson as their starting running back? You don't think the Rams want him? And they just won the Super Bowl.
Yeah. Kansas City damn sure take him.
Like, oh, you don't believe me? You don't believe me, huh? All right, look at the Houston Texans. They got Brandon Cooks. It's a pretty good wide receiver. He's a pretty good wide receiver. I think he's good. You might not like him, but I think he's good.
I think you lost me with the Houston Texans. I don't think they got shit. Yeah.
Oh, they got something. But I'm just saying, is there talent across the board? Abso-freaking-lutely.
Yeah, I think they got talent. But
there's talent everywhere. And I think that's why it's so much harder now to repeat. But, to go back to Tampa Bay, I think in their minds they know they can beat anybody. I just think what it was, one was fatigue, two, depth was not there as it was last year, and three, you hit the Rams. And we're not gonna sit here and act like this was a shocker that the Rams beat Tampa Bay, because the Rams beat Tampa Bay in that Sunday night matchup.
In LA.
So it's not like it's the money. It's the money line, I believe that. But I will say this for Tampa Bay, I don't think they really have anything to worry about, because I think they really did some good drafting prior to Tom Brady being there. I think they managed the cap really well. I'm not sure how much faith I have in Tampa Bay, but I will say this: they will make the playoffs, because the rest of the conference is no good, and Tampa Bay still has kind of almost everything. So
I think Tampa Bay makes it, like you just said, because the conference sucks. We don't. I mean, we could at least say at least 3 NFC West teams are coming out. At least 2. I can't say 3. At least 2.
I can sit here and say 2.
I can sit here and say 2. I can say 49ers.
But see, that's different, and we'll get to that. That's different. The reason Tyreek Hill left is because he wanted to get paid a certain way.
They won't pay him.
And they don't want. And why can't you pay him? Exactly. That's why you can't pay him. Because I've always said this: no player is worth 25% of your cap. If a player is worth that much of your cap, that dude better be a first ballot Hall of Famer. That's all I'm saying.
But he was, until they realized that you need a defense, you need O-line help.
Well, you better start drafting well, because that's the only thing I can tell you.
I think they jumped the gun too damn fast when they gave him all that money after the Super Bowl. They should have waited.
No, it's just one of those things. I get it. When you're a once in a lifetime talent, I get it. You want to you want to make sure he's secure, but then it's like, then I don't want to hear. Then the only thing I don't want to hear, like, I don't want to hear this down the road. Well, it would have been different had we had this, or it would have been different if we had that. And it's like, no, that's not the players. That's not the player's job. The player's job is to go play. They're not in charge of the cap space. If you give them a contract, they're there to sign and play. It's up to you to control the cap space, but that's a whole different conversation for a whole nother day. Now, to go to Tampa Bay's point, I will say this. I really don't know how bad free agency hurt them, because I think they're just doing the same thing again. I mean, yeah, there was a little bit of for money. Well, yeah, of course. Why wouldn't you? And this is the thing I don't like about, and this is just for everybody purposes. This is the thing I don't like. Well, he left for money. Yeah. Football careers are short. Football careers are short. Damn right I'm going to go for the money.
And plus, let's be real. Von Miller goes to the Rams, wins the Super Bowl. He probably don't get money.
Okay, first of all, that's a lie. Adams didn't leave Green Bay for money. Green Bay offered him more money than the Raiders, and Adams said no. He left because he didn't want to deal with Rodgers bullshit anymore.
Which I would understand, because I think Aaron Rodgers will retire at the end of this year, which I respect and I understand.
No, Adams leaving Green Bay. Trust me, when Green Bay is offering you $31 million and you still say no to them, and you only take 28.5 to go play in Vegas, I don't think that's about the money at that point. I think there's some feelings being thrown around in there. I think there's something more than money there. But when it comes to money, when it comes to it, it's like, dude, I don't blame these guys trying to get the bag. Why? Yeah. Everybody's got to know football careers are pretty short. You got to get the bag as quick as you can.
Yeah.
So if somebody's offering, put it this way, why the Rams offered Von Miller a 6-year, $120 million contract or whatever it was, whatever. You think Von Miller's going to question it? Hell no. They're going to pay me $20 million a year. Sold, my G. Sold.
Here's the thing, and y'all talk about money. There's some teams right now that's got a lot of questions for wide receivers. Deebo Samuel, AJ Brown, Terry McLaurin. One of those receivers will not be with their team by the end of this year.
AJ. I guarantee you it's going to be AJ.
One of those, because it's no way in hell they're going to be able to pay a receiver.
And here's the thing about it. Sometimes like we laugh about it, but it's not the player's fault. It's the team offering the contract. What's he gonna do? Not sign? Like we joke about it a lot. Like the whole Christian Kirk thing, resetting the market. Like we joke about it, but we really got to look at it. Like understand. I don't think Debo's gone. I think he stays. For some weird reason, I had this gut feeling San Francisco is gonna do San Francisco things, and they're gonna pull it right at the end, and he's gonna stay a 49er. But we got to understand.
I say second game preseason, Debo signs a deal.
I say so. I think so. But
he's the best damn receiver Washington got. So especially with Carson Wentz ass, they're gonna keep him around.
Oh, you gotta keep, because there's no way anybody else in Washington is gonna be like, yo, I want out. Because he's loved. That's the thing. Terry McLaurin is loved in Washington. That's the thing. But I don't blame these guys for trying to get the bag. They ain't giving them 30 mil. They don't have to give them 30 mil. They can give them 25. They can give them 26. Because the problem is the market is this. If you know you're better than Christian Kirk, you better ask for more than $23 million. That's the thing we're trying to explain. Like that's the thing I'm like want people to understand.
I'm sorry, Christian Kirk. You gotta watch these shows, man. We are not trying to dish you, but
it's the Jaguars' fault for doing this to you, man.
You getting $21 million is kind of ridiculous. I'm gonna just be real.
No, not 21. 23. 23 million.
Oh, 23 million.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. You got two extra $2 million.
Listen, I'm not a pocket watcher. I'm not anything like that. I just read the contract, what's in hand. This is what they're giving them. And here's the thing. If your name is DK Metcalf, Terry McLaurin, AJ Brown, Hunter Renfrow, if you're any of those names I just named you, your asking price, 24 and above, 23.5 and above. Like, that's your asking price.
24 is the starting point. I'm talking to you when you hit me with 24. That's the starting point.
Or like that, and that's the thing. It's not Christian Kirk's fault that he got that contract. Jacksonville offered him to. What is he going to say? No? Like, okay, cool. Sweet deal. I never have to work a day in my life again.
That's true.
I mean, and that's the thing. If like if it's like, oh, I know I'm better. Like, and picture this. You don't think Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase, those guys who are just year 1, year 2 in their leagues, they're looking at their teams like, hey, I know I'm only 2 years, a year into my contract, but I think we better start negotiating now before it gets really, really high for you.
Looking crazy.
Okay, like picture this. Denzel Ward just became the highest paid cornerback in the league. And if you ask anybody, is Denzel Ward the best cornerback in the league?
He's okay.
Is he worth $20 million? 20?
No, he's not.
Okay, but you know why? That's the market. When you got a corner and he does what he has to do, guess what? That's the market. So, again, am I saying that Denzel Ward's the best corner in the freaking league? No. Would I have him top 5? Probably not. Would I have him top 10? It's debatable. Top 15? Absolutely, I'll have him in there. Absolutely, I'll have him in there. But just know that's the price for a top corner now. $20 million. Remember that used to be quarterback money? That used to be elite quarterback money.
Oh, my God.
That was 10 years ago, folks.
Why the hell is Cleveland pulling all this money from?
I don't know, dude.
Am I the only one to realize that? Where the hell is Cleveland pulling all this money from?
I don't know, dude. It's freaking Cleveland. I don't know.
They got dead bodies somewhere. They buried somebody's body.
Maybe they did it like our grandparents. They buried bags of money like in the backyards or something. They just digged it out of the shovel. But yeah, to your point, I agree. And that's another thing. Money. There's another reason why dynasties aren't being born. It's just players leave. It is what it is. I mean, I'm not gonna be mad at the players. I'm not gonna blame them for Even if you want to go get the bag. Because at that point, it's like, well, you got to make a decision. Do you want the ring or you want the bag?
If you're lucky, you get the ring first and then you go get your bag.
Well, not everybody can be Von Miller. Two teams, two Super Bowls. Not everybody can be Von Miller now, and he's still getting the bag. And here's the thing. There's going to be people out there saying they're underpaying him, that's a steal. There is people out there literally saying that is a steal for Von Miller. But let's back away from the free agency and everything. Let's get back to the real topic at hand here. The Buccaneers. All right, look. Alex Kappa, he is now going to Cincinnati. Thank God. All right, protect Joe Burrow. All right, Jordan Whitehead, the guy who gave up the big play to Cooper Kupp, is now heading to the Jets. O.J. Howard is now heading to Buffalo. Ronald Jones is actually heading to Kansas City, which, by the way, very underrated move, I believe. Very underrated move. I think he's going to fit very well with that Kansas City offense.
That might pay off. That's a good move.
That might pay off because in that division, like, you need a multi-running back, and I think that's a very underrated move by Kansas City. It's not going to help your defense much, but they're not going to be on the field as long. I'll tell you that. So
it might help.
So it's going to help in a sense. Now, Russell Gage, they stole him from Atlanta. How dare they? Another wide receiver for Tom Brady. How dare they? Keanu Neal, he's going to come and replace Jordan Whitehead. He's going to play opposite of Antoine Whitfield, the safety from Dallas, Fred Johnson, they just switched guards from Cincinnati, so it is what it is. And Logan Ryan is now going to head to Tampa Bay from the Giants as well. But they did re-sign a lot of good players. At least I believe a lot of good players. Leonard Fournette, playoff Lenny, he back. He back in Tampa Bay. William Goldston, you got him back, so that's good. Keep somewhat of the defense intact. Zach Trenner, the long snapper. So now you got the trio back. Blaine Gabbert, the quarterback. So he's actually going to be, from what I read in an article, apparently him and Kyle Trask are going to be competing for the backup job. Because if you didn't hear, if you've been living under a rock, Tom Brady's back, folks.
Really?
Yes, he did not retire. He actually unretired and is now back with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, which, I'm hearing rumors, he could have been a Dolphin. But I think Bill Belichick screwed that up. I think Bill Belichick screwed that up really bad. But even then, Bill Belichick is still giving Tom Brady hell. Anyway, Giovanni. So we'll see how that quarter. I'm gonna believe that Kyle Trask wins that, because if you can't beat Blaine Gabbert in a backup competition, then I don't know, man. I don't know where to go. I don't know where to go from here. Like, I don't know where to go.
Oh, it's Colin Mond from Minnesota.
I've seen him
play. I've seen him throw the ball already in practice. I'm good.
Mike Zimmer's last infamous words. God, I love that man. I love honesty.
He's like, I saw him in practice. I'm good.
I've seen enough. You know what? I love honesty. We love it. I'll speak for myself. I love you, Mike Zimmer. I love you, man.
He's like, I'm gonna go down with this second ship before I put his ass in the game.
Like, he's like, I want you to take this baseball bat and swing it hard across my face before I put this guy in. Like, holy shit.
God, that's so bad, man.
Now, Giovanni Bernard, he is coming back, so I think that's a good backup rotation. It's kind of a switch back. And then Pat O'Connor, the backup defensive end, they re-signed him as well. But here we go. For Tampa Bay, really, it comes down to this. Can they stay healthy? Well, can their secondary stay healthy? Because it seems like they've had so many shifts that secondary last year where it's like, dude, I don't know who's playing corner. I don't know who's playing defensive back for the Buccaneers this week. At one point, it was Richard Sherman. He only lasted one series. And another week, it was this guy. And then he got hurt, and then Carl. And so they just tried. I think they just brought in too many, and it just became to a point where it's just like, hey, this is enough. That's enough. And it just wasn't. The talent on the team is great, except for the defensive back room. So it's going to be interesting to see where they go. But I have a feeling I know where me and you are both going to go. So here we go, Brandon. Here we are. Tampa Bay is on the clock. Roger Goodell's coming down to the podium. What name is that gentleman going to read off the card for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers?
All right. For the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Tampa Bay will go with Zion Johnson, guard, O-lineman, Boston College. I listen. We gonna stop acting like Adams Kappa is not there.
Well, he ain't there.
45 years old. That's what Tom Brady's age is gonna be when he starts the season. Last time I checked, he can't outrun no damn body.
No.
That is a lost cause. At 45 years old, I'd be surprised if he stand up right if he faces any of our defenses. Like if he faces the Rams, I know damn well he's seeing us, the Saints, but our defense that we got, and we just figure out a way to get to him every single time. I don't know what it is, we can get to him. San Francisco, if they're healthy, that's a defense you might want to worry about. Cardinals, they're healthy. That's a defense probably want to worry about. Green Bay, but but for the most part, if you're playing certain teams and they got a defense that can get to Tom Brady, I don't know what they're playing in the AFC this year. I got to check and see. But if they're playing the AFC North, that's a problem.
Well, it's going to be hell
So
Tom Brady.
So I listen, like you picked him for Tennessee. I think it fits Tampa Bay so much because what if Tom Brady goes down? You're going to start thinking about your future very fast. And they're going to need a goddamn offensive lineman that can stop and help that quarterback at least.
The future's already here. His name is Kyle Trask. The future's there.
Kyle Trask or Blaine Gabbert is going to need some help. And they need to, like I just said about earlier, Tom Brady, LeBron James. Like, you got to start thinking about the future of y'all teams. I don't know why. I understand when you got a legendary GOAT player playing for your organization, a franchise, you got already, you're always in win now mode, but eventually that person is going to leave. He showed you he can retire at any moment. You need to start building for the future.
By the way, we didn't ever bring this up. Bruce Arians is no longer the head coach. It is now Todd Bowles. That's how fast the NFL goes, my man.
I'm just saying, Brian Leftwich is an offensive-minded player, coach, quarterback. He knows how to do this. But to give Tom Brady any time to run that offense that you guys are putting together, he needs a goddamn offensive lineman.
He needs time.
Zion Johnson will at least give him that. And I don't know how long Ryan Jansen also is going to be there too. So if he also leaves, now you got a center. Congratulations. Now you got a center too. So whatever you need.
He's good. He's good to play both. That's the thing. That's the thing.
You just said it. Freddie Jones from Cincinnati is now their new guard. You telling me you trust him over a rookie right now? Because I damn sure don't. Because I saw him last year. He got his ass whooped.
Well, I saw him in the Super Bowl, and it wasn't pretty.
He got his ass whooped in the Super Bowl. Joe Burrow could barely.
But then again, any guard that goes up against Aaron Donald looks like they're going to get their ass whooped really bad.
But I'd rather a rookie
try
believes in himself than a goddamn player that's like, I have no chance in hell of stopping this man.
I feel you. No, I love the pick. I think it's like, look, yes, we got everybody has to stop pretending that Alex Cap was gone. No, he's gone, guys. He's gone.
He's gone.
Okay.
He's not coming back.
Now, if Zion Johnson's there, Tampa Bay really has to jump on the ball on that. But unfortunately, Zion Johnson went one pick prior, and I understand the frustration on that. But don't worry, Tampa Bay fans. I heard your callings. Even on my birthday, when I told you I didn't want to hear them, you still sent me messages and text and comments. Please pick a good player for me on Monday. Please. Okay? I heard your calling, and I got the perfect guy for you. Got the perfect guy. Don't you worry. I got this. So, what did we talk about? Tom Brady's back. He needs an offensive lineman. I think he's a veteran enough he'll figure something out to make it work. However, you need to shape up that defensive backs room. It's no good. I mean, it's no good. You know, it's bottom line. It's just no good. So here I go with my pick. All right.
Okay.
So I'm not going to get you on offensive lineman because I don't think there's an offensive lineman after Zion Johnson in the first round. You're really going to have to really justify why you wanted him. And I get it. He was an early second. So let's get him in the late first. It happens. But you really have to justify why you did it. So you know me. I go BPA. Best player available. So here we go. With that pick, I think they are number 26, I believe. Or nope, 27th. 27th. We're pick number 27. I believe the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are going to select Andrew Booth Jr., cornerback out of Clemson. Yes. Yes. Here he goes. You know I'm a big fan of his, man. You know I like this kid. And listen, people are going to look at me right now and say, who the hell is Andrew Booth Jr.? All right, people are going to be like, who the hell? You were just telling me you got to justify this. Listen, I'll pretty much put it to you like this. He's the best cornerback in your room the second he gets in there. I'll tell you that right now. What, you're really gonna rely on Sean Murphy Butling, Scantling, whatever his name is? You're gonna rely on Carlton Davis again? You're gonna rely on Logan Ryan? Really gonna rely on those guys? Nah, we gotta get young. I'll put it to you this way: he's the best corner you got, and he hasn't even played in the snap in the NFL yet. So who is Andrew Booth Jr.? Well, Brandon, let me tell you, he's cornerback out of Clemson. Another Clemson. Go figure. Another development in the Clemson family tree of cornerbacks. Who freaking knew, right? AJ Terrell, Trayvon Mullen, Andrew Booth Jr. Now. Who freaking? Maybe there's a connection here. But anyway, so 2019, you wouldn't believe it. He played all 13 games, but didn't get one start. Why? Because AJ Terrell and Trayvon Mullen and those guys were actually pretty much there. And they were pretty much good. So he only had 4 tackles in all those 13 games.
I mean, it wasn't good against us. I mean, we whooped their ass in the championship game. But other than that,
Bingo. But you got to understand that LSU squad in 2019. That was it's going to be a long time before we.
No excuses.
It's going to be a long time before we see a college football team like that. That was incredible. I get it. Georgia won, and it's cool. It's fine, but that LSU team in 2019 was like, yo, that's unfair, dude.
That was NFL style offense playing against college. It was so unfair.
Like, dude, this is not right, bro.
Oh my God.
That is not right, bro. This is bad. But anyway, 2020, everybody leaves. Okay, AJ Terrell's gone. Trayvon Mullen's gone. Everybody else is leaving. So it's like, okay, I'm the big dude now. All right, how am I going to handle this? Pretty good, actually. 27 tackles, 1 sack, 1 fumble recovery, 2 picks, and 4 pass deflections. How about that? How do you follow up with your senior or your junior year? Even better. 37 tackles, 3 interceptions, 5 pass deflections. You see where I'm going with this? It looks like he knows how to track the ball. And that's good. And here's the crazy thing about him. He excels in the run game. He's a surefire tackler in the run game. You know, now the only bad thing was he did get a sports hernia surgery in March, okay, about a month ago. But the results came back good, and he's going to be ready to go for the season. So it would have been one thing. It's like, well, he's going to have to miss a year. Nope. He's going to be good for the start of the season. So all good. All systems go there. And he's a very intelligent dude. You can't play defense for Dabble Sweeney and not be smart. He's an intelligent man. He can play press. He can play zone. He's just a really good corner. He's got good coverage skills. And like I said, he adds addition to the run game, you know, which is actually one of Tampa Bay's worst Things about the defense was that run defense. They can get to the quarterback fine, but that running back, now you add a corner. Now it's kind of sad that you have to add a corner to help you on the run defense, but you got to start somewhere. You got to start somewhere. So I will say this. I think for Andrew Booth to fall to Tampa Bay, I'll put it to you like this. He'll be the best cornerback in the room already, and he's your day one starter. That's not even a debate. So, which rightfully so, he does deserve to be a day one starter. So, there's my pick. Andrew Booth Jr. Bam. I know.
I don't know what to tell you. It's a good pick. I think he comes from Clemson, a championship team in college, a dynasty in college, in a sense.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, 2020 was kind of as a team. 2021 was kind of as a team.
But individually, he showed his grit. He showed his grit.
Yeah, but I mean, that you can't really blame him for the entire team sucking.
He did his. I'll put it to you this way: he did his job.
He did his job, yeah. And clearly, if he didn't do his job, he wouldn't be in the first round talk discussions. So I think he's a great pick. I think they need to go secondary, but the reason why I didn't pick a secondary player for Tampa is because they did that in the second round. I really do. I feel like somebody's gonna fall that they do like in the second round. They need something that can fix. They're in win now mode in my mind. They're in win now mode. They got Tom Brady for more and more years.
Oh, when they signed Tom Brady, they're win mode every year, as long as they got Tom.
And it's like I think they need more help offensively because if they have nobody to protect Tom Brady, that's your whole season. Yeah. That's the end. You go ahead and put Tom Brady in retirement, it's over. It's not even a question.
I agree. No, I agree completely. It's just one of those. I think to me right now, it's really where does I think for me the way I look at this draft is where does the talent drop off? I think it's like, okay, you can always get a corner in the second, but let's say Trent McDuffie, Roger McCary, Andrew Booth are there. You really can pick up another one of those guys in the second round as opposed to, Nicholas Parrett, Rasheed Walker, guys that can play inside, Heck, even the corner or even the guard from LSU who's getting second round love. You don't think maybe he falls to you in the second? I mean, it's just where does the talent drop off? Where do I? And I think for me, I think the opposite. I think you can get an offensive guard in the second, but you can't get a top corner in the first like this. You if you need a corner and that's your biggest weakness, you're going to have to get him. It's like this. Tyler Linderbaum is like the top center, right?
Yep.
Where does the next one go?
Fourth.
You see what I'm saying? Where does the talent, perfect example. Devin Lloyd is the best linebacker, right?
Yeah.
Where would you say the drop? For me, the drop off for linebacker, honestly, is Brandon Smith of Penn State, and he's a third round linebacker. After that, it's kind of like, well, you got JoJo Doman, you got Michael McFadden, you got Jeremiah Gizmo, Clarence Hicks, you got some other good guys, but it's like, where does the talent drop off after that? Where that can make an impact at least.
Yeah, oh man, yeah.
Don't get me wrong. You can get a corner. You can get a corner. There's corners out there. We saw in the combine. There's talent in corner, but it's like, okay, who's gonna be the talent drop? Where to be? After this, it's you get whatever you get.
Yeah, I think Tampa needs secondary help. Clearly, I know Tampa needs secondary help, but I just feel like I'm trying to think about protecting Tom Brady right now because that's
I get you. No, and I get you. And then to me, it's like for me, the offensive line and the wide receiver class is so deep where it's like I'm going to be honest with you. I look at names that are coming out in this draft. It's like I can get an offensive tackle in the third round, and he could still be a day one starter because that's how much I view the talent of this draft class on that offensive line and the wide receiver as well. There's some wide receivers I'm seeing on mock drafts that go in the 4th round, it's like, dude, he could be a day 1 starter. He may not be a number 1, but he's a day 1 starter. He could be your number 2 in a good situation. So I mean, and that's the thing. I think that's where, to me, I think the corner line, it kind of, as it gets farther and farther, it's like, oh man, do we really want to risk it? Now don't get me wrong, if Zion Johnson's there, that's not a bad deal. But if he's not there, then it's like, well, we got to make the choice. Either we got to overvalue, we got to draft somebody higher than normally, and that's okay because it's a need, or we take the best player available, get criticized there, and then we wait till round 2, and then it's the talent's still going to be there, and he could still start for you day 1. That's how I'm seeing it for the Buccaneers. It's kind of like well, you're kind of damned if you do, and you're damned if you don't. No matter what you choose, people are going to say something. So it's just one of those things. So we'll see. I mean, I'm excited about it. We got about a week and some change, and then we'll see what they really end up doing after round 1. So we'll go from there. Other than that, that is going to be it for today's episode. Tomorrow, we have, finally, Green Bay Packers. They are on the clock. And yeah, it's time. It's time. It's time to talk about the offseason, the regular season, the postseason, and the offseason that the Green Bay Packers had. Oh boy, I can't wait. Oh boy, I can't.
I will be thinking you would be in a really good mood for Green Bay because of what they did for you and your team. But let's see.
Whatever do you mean? Oh yeah. I forgot. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I remember now.
You remember that? Yeah. That situation.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I forgot about that. Oh man. And to think, looking at all these other wide receiver trades, I'm not mad one bit. So it's all good for me. Now we just got to help out the Packers here. We got to help them out here because I know they need help. And I think this is one of those situations where in our my mock draft for the 22 pick, I had them going wide receiver. And people ask me, is double dipping on wide receiver an option? I say hell yeah. Now let's see if I actually do it. But I say hell yeah. Why not? But let's see if they actually do pull the trigger on this one. But we'll see. But that's tomorrow. Brandon, as always, it is awesome to talk to you, my man, as always. Everybody here on YouTube, thank you so much for tuning in. Tomorrow, we got the Packers, and we're going to try to help them any way they can to forget about the offseason that they had. And if you want to look what we did with their first pick, go back in our videos when we talked about the Raiders. We made their selection there and who we selected for the Green Bay Packers. I went wide receiver out of North Dakota State, Christian Watson. Brandon, I believe you went, what was it? Defense as well. George Karfalatis. That is correct. Yep. That is correct. He went George Karfalatis. So now we'll get to see what happens in the second pick for Green Bay. So until then, I'm your good old boy, JR. As always, that is my man, Brandon. Thank you, everybody, for the support. We will see you guys tomorrow for the Green Bay Packers. Take care, everybody.